Public engagement should always be the foundation of good governance. And that's why on today's show, we're going to highlight how the City of Westland is giving our citizens the ability to get easily engaged in shaping the decisions that affect them directly. Joining us today is our Economic Development Director, Aubrey Berman, to explain how residents and stakeholders can be directly involved in the creation of a formalized and comprehensive economic development strategy. Mo Ayoub, Westland's Planning Director, will explain all the current plans to update the city's zoning ordinance and a plan to improve the walkability of Westland while also making the city more bike-friendly. Our Parks and Recreation Director, Kyle Mulligan, will talk to us about how you can give your input on the plans that will make residents and their four-legged friends very happy. From economic development and planning improvements to some doggone new park enhancements, all that and more next on In the W. Well, hello and Happy New Year. Welcome to the first In the W of 2022. And today we're going to be focusing on public engagement and why it's important. In the City of Westland, we think that part of the thing that makes us special is that we always have opportunities for the public to engage. I think it's a cornerstone of good governance, and it's something that we try to bring forward in all the stuff that we do here in the City of Westland. And one of the departments that really reaches out to the public a lot for engagement is economic development. And with us here today is our director, Aubrey Berman.
Good morning, Mayor.
Aubrey, welcome to In the W. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, you too.
And I know that you've got a busy year planned ahead, and there's going to be lots of opportunities for public engagement with your department. And one of the things that you've been leading the city over the last couple of years is becoming a redevelopment ready city through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And how's that going?
It's going well. Like you said, we've been working on that certification for about 2 years, a little over, and we're about 90% of the way through. So I'll explain. The Rrc program is basically a set of 6 best practices that the MEDC has put out, and they're encouraging communities to kind of align themselves with these best practices. And those things have to be integrated into, all different departments and all of our projects and all of the way that we kind of think about what we're doing and how we're planning the next steps for the city. So we are about 90% of the way through that program now. The first best practice, ironically enough, and it fits great in our conversation today, it has to do with plans and engagement. And so, they actually require you to have a public participation strategy. And, the goal of that is really to find unique ways to ensure that you're activating a unique group and diverse group of stakeholders in all of your planning and all of your projects. So that was one of the first things that we tackled. And, I think it's clear that we've really tightened that up and continued to try to get as many people involved in everything that we're doing around the city as possible.
Okay. So a lot of that, we probably have been doing it, but this is actually formalizes it and actually has a policy in place and gets it on paper so that moving forward, as the elected officials change, as employees change, that way the city still has those policies in place. So, well, you have an event coming up. I know one part of this is an economic development strategy. And this is going to be an opportunity for the public to weigh in. You want to talk a little bit about that? Absolutely.
So, this is actually the 5th best practice for the Rrc program, and it's to have a comprehensive economic development strategic plan. And so we've been working on that project for about 6 months now, kind of wrapping up now. We did kind of engage as many members of the community as possible. This is focused a little bit more on the business community. So we did, confidential interviews with key stakeholders, large employers in the community. We had, members from the school district. Always want to get their feedback. It's very important. Obviously the mall, we engaged with the owners and the management there. So, you really try to get all of that feedback and put it together to get what is the community's vision and plan to where they want me to be focusing my time and efforts and our whole team's, economic development efforts. So we are in kind of a draft mode right now. We're wrapping up the the plan at the moment, and there is going to be more opportunity for engagement because we are currently planning a joint meeting with the TIFA board, the DDA, and the City Council, and that's going to take place sometime in February, and the public is definitely going to be welcome to come to that and give us their feedback on what, the draft that we have and what else they might want to see before we finalize.
Well, that's going to be pretty exciting. I can't remember in my time in Westland where we had a joint meeting of so it'd be the Westland City Council, would it be the TIFA?
Correct. Yeah.
Planning Commission too?
Planning Commission is going to have a separate joint meeting, but
Okay.
This one will be the DDA, the City Council, and the TIFA board. So the DDA and TIFA had a big, they have a big role in the economic development of the city. They're two kind of key districts that we like to focus on. So we want to get everybody in the same room, present that all together, and kind of get their feedback as a whole collective group.
Okay, so we're going to set that meeting, hopefully we'll be in February. There is a draft of the economic development strategy. Will that be available to the public in the near future so that they could take a look at it?
Absolutely. We definitely we'll be initially sharing that draft at the joint meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll post that on our website as well and have some sort of period where people can go on, take a look, and definitely email me any feedback that they have as well.
Okay, so Aubrey, what are ways that people can give public engagement? So you lead up 3 different commissions, right? Boards and commissions. What are those again?
Correct. So there's the Tax Increment Finance Authority, or we call it TIFA.
Yeah.
They also serve as our Brownfield Authority and our Economic Development Corporation. So they wear a lot of hats. And then there's the Downtown Development Authority, or DDA,
Okay.
and the Local Development Finance Authority, or LDFA.
Okay, so those boards are open to the public, and when do they meet?
So the TIFA board meets on the second Tuesday of the month at 8 a.m. every month here at City Hall. The DDA board meets the 4th Thursday of the month at 8 a.m. here at City Hall. And the LDFA meets quarterly, so they're March, June, September, and December on Fridays at 9 a.m. here at City Hall.
Okay, so those are open to the public, and they kind of run like a city council meeting where at the end of the meeting there's time for citizen engagement, like 3 minutes or so, like the city council meetings.
Absolutely, and the great thing about those boards is that they, you use tax increment financing to reinvest into those districts. So if there's something that you want to see, in any of those districts, we definitely want to get the public's input on what, how they'd like to see us strategically reinvesting those funds.
Okay, so Aubrey, before we wrap up, why do you think it's important that the public engages with the work that you do for the city of Wesleyan? And besides coming to your meetings, are there other ways that folks can give their input to your office?
Sure, yeah. Economic development is one of those things you can look at through so many different lenses, and there's so many different strategies, and there's no end to the need, right? So it's very important, I think, that I know that the path that I'm taking and the areas that I'm focusing on are what's truly important to the community and what they want to see. So I'm always happy to have the discussion with people about where they think that our priorities need to be focused, and you can reach out to me anytime. Definitely come to the board meetings. That's a great opportunity to come share your feedback. But also, my office number is listed and my email is listed, and I'm happy to set up time to talk to anyone as well.
All right. Well, we appreciate that. So before you go, Aubrey, we can't have you in the first of the year without talking about all the new stuff that's happening in the city of Wesleyan. So can you give us a little tease about some of the new things that people can expect to see in 2022? And maybe we can have you back a little bit later to go a little bit more into detail on some of that stuff. Sure.
We would definitely need probably a whole show to talk about all of the great things that are coming up in Westland. It's almost hard to keep it all straight, but I know people's usually their favorite thing to hear about is new restaurant options, right? So we've got 5 new restaurants about to open their doors. We've got Egyptian Kitchen on Wayne Road, South Wayne Road. They just opened. Nacho Macho on Ford Road is about to open. We've got Tabbouleh To Go on Wayne Road. Yeah. They're just a couple moments away, I would say probably in the next week or two. Kung Fu Brothers Dumpling right next door to City Hall, which I know I'll definitely be frequenting. And then Aroma Creperie and Cafe also on Wayne Road. So really 5 very diverse, very different offerings that we're seeing coming on the scene in the next couple of months.
You know, I've said it before, we really have an emerging food scene in Westland. It doesn't get as much attention as some other cities, but the things you're talking about, you know, those aren't big chains. Those are cool places, and I think that's what people like. And you mentioned, you know, Egyptian and vegan and what was the dumpling place?
Kung Fu Brothers.
Kung Fu Brothers Dumpling. So those are all really unique places, and I think they're going to build out our local shop and dine district. So what else you got?
Well, there are 2 new major residential developments coming. They're both on former Wayne Westland school sites, the site of Madison and Kettering. Both are Lombardo Homes projects, and those are really exciting because they really represent the first major new construction for residential in the 48186 school district since before the recession.
You know, new homes is something that it really plays a big part in economic development because you know, those homes there are probably going to start off at $250,000 to $300,000, and a lot of people say, "Man, I wish you guys had one of these." And really, it comes down to you know, those new homes play a part in raising up the median income, raising up the median home prices in the city. So those are both going to be south of Ford Road. So I think those will be great additions for our economic development south of Ford Road.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else?
Yes, I will say, I think that people are going to be really pleasantly surprised. Ford Road is about to get a major facelift. There's an incredible amount of activity taking place along the Ford Road corridor. You've got a new Dairy Queen coming in, the Tommy's Car Wash coming in right at Ford and Newburgh there. The Common Citizens Cannabis Provisioning Center is going to be opening up. And really, we're starting to just see this new development kind of trickle down the corridor. And I think in the next year or two, you're going to drive down and it's going to be a completely new Ford Road.
Well, that's something that we look forward to and something that we've been trying to work on for a long time. So it's exciting stuff. So once again, thank you for being on and thank you for making public engagement an important part of your department, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be back with more In the W in just a minute.
Stay tuned. Up next, we have Planning Director Mohamed Ayoub.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning, 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Welcome back to In the W. So today's topic is on public engagement and the importance of it here at the local level. And we just heard from Aubrey Berman, our City of Westland's Economic Development Director. But joining us now is the city's Planning Director, Mohamed Ayoub. And Mo, you've actually got a couple big projects that you're asking for engagement from the community that kind of affects everybody.
Sure, yeah. Good morning, Mayor. We in the Planning Department engage with the public almost on an everyday level, but there's 2 specific projects that we're going to be talking about today that has been very important relative to engaging with the public and understanding what they want to see out of these projects.
All right. Well, with that said, let's jump right into it. So the first one is the City of Westland's walk and roll strategy. You want to talk a little bit about that initiative?
Sure. So the walk and roll plan is the city's very first plan on walking and biking in the city, on improving the city's roadways, sidewalks, and crossing areas, on building a network for our citizens and visitors to be able to properly and safely bike and walk in the city. We have some sidewalk gaps that the plan talks about filling. We have some crosswalks and pedestrian crossing signals that are a little bit outdated, that the plan strategizes on how to fix and improve over time. There's also some safe streets throughout the city that, with some minor improvements, can be more bikeable. And there's some streets in the city that aren't so safe for bikers, but make sense for economic purposes and for our citizens to be able to ride on those streets. So the plan also talks about improving those streets over time to be able to build a bicycle network throughout the city.
All right, so Mo, let's take a step back and just talk about why this is important. So, you know, the city of Westland now is, you know, we're over 50 years old, and the city is, you know, getting closer to being fully developed. And
Sure.
you know, as cities kind of set themselves up for the future, for future home buyers, one of the things that I think home buyers look at is, you know, is the livability of a city. And
Sure.
I know that there's a lot of talk now about livability indexes for cities, sure. and where does your city match up with that? You know, not a lot of effort went into, as the city of Westland was developed, and this is probably like this in most suburban cities. The city was built for cars. I mean, sure. You built houses, and then you built around the automobile.
Right.
Now people are taking another look at that, and as we become more health conscious, and I think we learned during the pandemic is that people want to get outside, they want to be active, right. to live in more active lifestyles. They want to be able to walk, and they want to be able to get around by a bike. So in the city of Westland, you know, you mentioned that there's a gap for some sidewalks. I know we're going to try to address that, but a lot of people, when we start talking about creating a city that's more friendly for bikes, the instant pushback is, well, nobody's out riding bikes. We don't see any bikes, so why would we want to build space for bikes? So. Sure. So as a planner, Mo, why don't you talk a little bit about what do you think the importance is of becoming more walkable and more bike friendly as a community? Sure.
So we're one of the largest cities in the state. We're only going to focus on Michigan, but there's a variety of cities throughout the country that are implementing these bicycle friendly options for their residents and visitors. But here in Westland, we have a lot of neighborhood type commercial areas that are easily accessible, avoiding the major thoroughfares like Michigan Avenue and Ford Road, and maybe even Warren, that are easily accessible by these roads that can have bicycle lanes. There's also a wide variety of demographics in the area. There's also a wide variety of options for recreation. We have Hines Park that runs through our community. So there has been actually in our community people that do bike today. So we're not building these bike lanes for people to start riding their bikes. We're building these bicycle lanes, or planning to build these bicycle lanes for our residents to be able to safely bike along our city streets. There's been a number of fatalities in our community from people riding their bikes. So that was also another genesis of the plan. Something that came out in our public meetings that we had with the community. So there's a wide variety of reasons why we're planning to build bike lanes in our community. We also want to be a place where people want to move, and I believe that in the 21st century, bike lanes needs to be a part of your community. Yeah, you know, we're actually behind in that, and. Sure. You know, one of the things that we try to do is we always try to make investments that are going to improve people's property values. And it's been proven time and time again that communities that are walkable, communities that are bike friendly, that the properties are more desirable, they're more valuable. So
As we talk about this plan, Mo, and today's topic is on public engagement, obviously as we start talking about, making the city more walkable and also creating space for bicycles, it's going to affect a lot of people because,
Sure.
that's something that we didn't have in the past, and we have a lot of on-street parking and other things. So this plan is moving forward, but there's a lot of opportunity for public engagement. So can you talk a little bit about how people can weigh in on this and why it's important that they do?
Yeah, so public engagement is always something that we need as planners, and not only planners, but staff in the public sector. But specifically for this plan, we've been working on it for a little bit over a year now. We have some of the documents are in forms that are ready to be adopted, but we're still a need to go through the final adoption process with the Public City Council and Planning Commission. But we've had a variety of public engagement sessions throughout the past year. We have went to the people. We've held some sessions at some of our public parks to engage with the residents and go to where they may feel that they can actively engage. Initial conversations with the residents was to inform, and then later engagement was to put the plans out there and try to understand if we got it right or if we got it wrong. We made some modifications. There were a ton of residents that were opposed to removing on-street parking, which I would be too. So we modified our plans to reflect keeping on-street parking. And there were also residents that voiced concern that were motorists, not bikers. So we had to take into account their concerns as well.
Okay. Well, that's the whole thing about public engagement is we want to hear from you because you live in the neighborhood. There's a lot of intricacies, that are inside the neighborhood, that we need to know about, so that as we're putting a plan together, we know about those certain things in your neighborhood. And every neighborhood's unique and different like that. So it's a great opportunity. And the one thing that I feel comfortable about is that bike lanes have they've been modified over the year. They're a little they've taken in, planners have taken in consideration for on-street parking, because most suburbs like the city of Westland, there is a lot of on-street parking. So bike lanes have evolved to allow for that. So Mo, do you have any meetings coming up on that? And then I want to jump right into the next thing you're working on is the zoning update. So do you have any meetings planned where the public can weigh in on the walk and roll plan?
So I envision 3 more meetings in the upcoming months. We will have one community meeting, one final community meeting to know if we certainly got this right or if there's something that we need to change. And then we will go through the adoption process with the Planning Commission first, and then the City Council second. And all those meetings will be open to the public.
Okay. Well, let's jump into the next one, and we're starting to get short on time, but let's talk about the zoning ordinance update. It's something you're taking on. It's a big project. It's something that hasn't been updated since the early 90s, and let's talk about what that looks like and why it's important.
Yeah, so just really quickly, the zoning ordinance regulates uses, building types, how you build a building on a piece of land, and things like that. So as you mentioned, it hasn't been updated since the 90s. Uses and how people perceive and act with different land uses has changed since the 90s. The way we also like to see our buildings has also changed since the 90s. So there's a need to update our zoning ordinance to reflect modern day thinking around planning and land uses and the built environment throughout the city. So we're engaging with a consultant to do that. There's a variety of public engagement and stakeholder community meetings and workshops that we need to do to try and understand what the community wants. I've only been here for a few years. Others have been here since it was Macon Township, so the residents can properly tell us what they want, what they've seen not work since the 90s, what they've seen work, so we can keep it in the zoning ordinance. We also want to update the zoning ordinance so it could be a little bit more user-friendly in terms of all of the technology that has evolved since the 90s. So we can put it on the website so residents, business owners can actively engage with it. It'll be easier to learn from. Instead of having to pick up the phone and call, you can maybe figure out the information while reading the more friendly interactive zoning ordinance. We're going to be holding various workshops and community meetings for that as well.
All right. Well, the early feedback we got from the business community and the commercial real estate professionals is they're really excited about this. This is something that you know, we've needed to do it in Westland, and now we've got, you know, Mo, you're going to lead us through this, but it's going to make us competitive. And you know, we talked earlier with Aubrey about her comprehensive economic development strategy, and this plays into that as well too. So it's a great opportunity for the public to engage, and we'll be back more to talk about that in the future. Mo, you lead the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals, and those are other meetings that are open to the public. Can you talk about when those meetings are?
Yeah, so like the walk and roll plan, like the zoning ordinance update, those meetings will be posted on the city's website for everyone that wants to come and attend. But just like those, the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board also deal with a variety of developments going on in the city. We hold public meetings and review developments and recommend approval or denial in some cases. So we post all of those meetings on the city's website. They're here at City Hall. We also put them in the newspaper. There's a cork board out front in the lobby that we also post them on. And sometimes we send public notice to residents also, depending on what type of land use project is going on. So all of those are open to the public. Residents have the opportunity to come engage with the commission and the board to understand, voice concerns, and sometimes there's good things that come out of it. Sometimes developers are required to go back and modify their plans and things like that.
All right. Well, it's two more ways that you can engage with us. And the Planning Commission meetings, you know, they're on WLND too, so you can watch those and stay informed. So Mo, before we let you hustle out of here and get back to work, congratulations. I saw you were just appointed by SIMCOG to serve on their Traffic Safety Task Force.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we appreciate you representing Westland on this regional task force, and I think it kind of plays right in with some of the work that you're currently working on. So great time to be at the table.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Mo. We'll keep up the great work, and we're going to ask you to stand by because we're going to be back with more In the W in just a minute.
Coming up next is the Director of Parks and Recreation, Kyle Mulligan.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Welcome back to In the W. Today we're talking about public engagement, and joining us now is the City of Westland's Parks and Recreation Director, Kyle Mulligan.
Thanks for having me, Mayor.
Well, Kyle, welcome to In the W, and we appreciate all the work that you do for the City of Westland. You wear a lot of different hats. The WLND viewers, they know you as Mission Green TV, so that's one of the many things you do for us, so we appreciate all that you do. So Kyle, we're talking today about public engagement, and I think that sometimes, you know, I hear from residents is that, you know, that you don't hear us. You know, we say things and like the public officials, they don't hear us. Well, one of the things that we did hear loud and clear was that our residents in Westland wanted to create a dog park. And Westland's big enough that I think that we could probably have more than one dog park. And there's currently a dog park that's in Hines Park that's probably easier for the people on the north side of the city to get into. But Kyle, that's something that the dog park is something that your Parks and Rec Advisory Board has taken the lead on, and it looks like we're moving down the road on creating Westland's first city-owned dog park. And let's talk a little about what it is and where it's going to be and how the public can help us figure this thing out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great project. You know, we put into the budget for this fiscal year to install the first city-operated dog park. Like you said, Wayne County does operate a dog park in Westland. However, it's not typically centrally located in the city. The location we have for it is great. It's right next to our DPS yard off of Marquette Street for easy maintenance and access to be able to take care of any issues that might arise. But I'm glad that we're doing this today because the public engagement for the dog park is currently happening right now. We want residents to give all of their feedback, questions, comments, concerns about the dog park, and they can do that by filling out the survey that we currently have on the City of Westland website. So it's very, very, very important.
All right. So let's talk about where it is again. So it's next to the DPS yard, so it's on Marquette. For those of you that have been here for a long time, you probably remember the building department used to be located on Marquette, and that building was taken down and created additional parking. So we're kind of talking about the grassy area to the east of that. And certainly once we put that word out, some people said, why did you pick there? What about over here? Well, first of all, this is city-owned land, and it's kind of like a park setting when you take a look at it. And obviously there's lots of parking already there, so we're going to be able to keep our costs down. And it's going to kind of be like a pocket park, and I don't think that there's any reason why once we kind of get a format down for creating a dog park, why we couldn't replicate it in other areas of the city, maybe even within some of our bigger parks.
Absolutely, and that's the original plan. In order to have multiple dog parks in the city, you got to have one first, so this is going to be a great start. And then again, just the location was chosen because DPS is going to be able to easily take care of any issues that might arise. And then regarding the layout for it, back into the public engagement, residents, when they fill out the survey, are actually going to be able to pick the two concepts that my Parks and Rec Advisory Council kind of laid out and said these two make sense. The public who fill out the survey are actually going to be able to pick whether they like A or B in regarding the concepts. So another way for residents to voice their opinion.
All right, well, when it comes to dogs in the city of Westland, a lot of homeowners have dogs and they certainly have a lot of opinions. So we're really hoping to learn from you on, you know, while we do have a couple different scenarios there based on size and working with your engineering or your professionals, but kind of what goes inside those parks, there's still a lot of opportunity for the citizens to weigh in on. So once again, where can they find that survey, and do you have any meetings coming up that are open to the public?
Yep, so the survey will be on the cityofwestland.com website under the Parks and Recreation page. We'll also be putting social media blasts out the entire month of February for that. The survey will close February 23rd, which will then give us a couple of days to compile those results. And then our public engagement meeting will be the February 28th on a Monday at Westland City Hall for the Parks and Rec Advisory Council meeting. We're going to be utilizing that meeting as a public engagement, so we're asking all residents to please come out that evening. We meet at 6 o'clock right here in Westland City Hall in Community Room C.
All right, well, great. I know one of the things we'll be asking the public to do is to help us put a name on this new park. So, Kyle, maybe you and I can work together on coming up with the contest, maybe to have some people if their name is chosen, they can win a prize or something like that. So that'll be fun.
A contest would be great. Some of the names that I've seen regarding the survey have actually been pretty interesting. So we'll definitely put a couple of out.
All right. Well, the Kyle Mulligan Memorial Dog Park, that one's out. So nice try though.
Darn.
All right. So Kyle, let's talk about a couple other things. So one of the areas that you're going to see where the public's going to have a lot of opportunity to weigh in on is as the city works with the city council to come up with our priorities for the American Recovery Act dollars that have come into the city of Westland. And I've talked about it during my State of the City that the city received $26 million, and we're going to start the public input on kind of prioritizing what our needs are. And through my State of the City, I threw out the, for a lack of a better name, I threw it out as the Rebuild Westland Plan. And I picked some things like the Marshall School project and some new fire stations and a couple other things. But there's going to be a lot of opportunity for the residents to kind of weigh in on how we should utilize those dollars. There's going to be, it may be too late by the time you see this show, but the City Council is going to have their first strategy session on this on February 5th here at City Hall from 10 to 2. But if you can't make that, that's okay, because it's just the very first meeting. So Kyle, I do think that a lot of the things that, you know, the investment dollars, they're going to kind of come back with your department, because recreation is that one area that the city really needs to reinvest in ourselves. The Marshall YMCA project is one way to do that. But, you know, with our parks in the city of Wesleyan, one of the things that makes us special is that we have all these neighborhood parks. And I know that working with your Parks and Rec Advisory Board, one of the things that they're suggesting is that we go through all those parks and update our equipment. And can you kind of talk a little bit about that, and maybe let the people at home know how they could help you kind of as we start to rethink some of the entertainment in our local parks, how they can help us?
Yep, absolutely. So we're really looking forward to these discussions regarding the American Rescue Plan. Parks are important, obviously, in a community, not just for kids. Adults and families utilize these parks. Senior citizens use them for walking. It's a whole community thing. It's not just about the kids. The great thing about the American Recovery Plan and being able to look at these dollars, these one-time funds are going to be able to update a lot of the parks, looking at each individual regarding play structures, additional amenities. So if there's a resident or anybody in Westland who's looking for something specific, please give our department a call regarding programming or any type of amenities that you're looking for in the city. Our phone number is 734-722-7620. We're always looking to hear ideas and kind of work with the residents to see exactly what they want. So we're really looking forward to this American Rescue Plan discussion. So,
you know, it's a great opportunity. So when you're out there, if you visit another city or another public park, if you see some amenities that you think would be nice additions for the city of Westland, just take a picture of it and send it to us so we can take a look at it. Kyle, I know that you count on the public to help you out as your eyes and ears for all the city parks. So can you give a plug for your city park? I don't know if you call it the ambassador program, your eyes and ears, but I know that the residents play a big part in us helping to maintain our parks.
Yep, so in the city of Westland, we do have 17 parks. It's impossible for me to be in all of them at the same time. So like you said, eyes and ears, if you see anything or hear anything, please let our department know. We can make sure to resolve those situations. And then obviously anything you're looking forward to in the parks, please let me have that information as well, because we love to continue to work with the residents. So,
all right, Kyle. All right, well, with that, we had a great show today, lots of opportunities for public engagement. It's an ongoing thing in the city of Westland. It's going to be beyond, you know, the departments we talked today. We're always looking for public engagement, and obviously the city council is as well, and those meetings are open to the public the first and third Mondays of every month here at City Hall, and there's an opportunity for the public to weigh in on those meetings. Go to the city's website. You're going to see moving forward there's going to be a lot more opportunities for public engagement. Lots of surveys, lots of information there, and certainly we want to hear from you as we continue to improve the city of Westland. So Kyle, keep up the great work, and we'll be back to talk more about some of the fun investments, and I want to learn more about the dog park moving forward as well.
thank you, Ray. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for watching In the Debbie, where we kind of take a look at, bigger issues and at the federal and state level and how they affect us at the local level. And public engagement is something that I think we need more of at the local level, and certainly more of it at the state and federal level. So with that, we'll see you on the next show. Thanks for watching.